Let's talk Asian bonds, Andy. It's Friday. Why not? You know, in 2014, there's a litany of risks out there, from continued political unrest in Thailand to that great debt wall of China. So I want to ask you, why aren't investors demanding more yield?
Well, the answer that you will get in the marketplace, if you ask, is that investors are simply being reckless. They are ignoring all the risks that are out there and rushing headlong into buying fixed income securities. But that's not what I'm arguing. What I'm arguing is that what if that's really not true, and that investors are actually very mindful of the biggest risk of them all, the risk of global deflation. Because if they are mindful of that risk, this is exactly what they should be doing, locking in whatever yields they are getting and hoping that deflation will juice up their real or inflation-adjusted returns. Now, of course, in a deflationary world, the debtors, that's the companies and the governments that are currently borrowing from these investors, won't, of course, be doing very well. But as long as the credit doesn't really go belly up, which means there is no sort of surge in defaults, then the bond investors' bet on global deflation might actually be quite a profitable one.
Right, Andy. Now, looking at some of the macro factors here, why isn't Fed tapering the schedule there, moving the needle on this more?
Well, the Fed's communication right now is quite garbled. Now, they have these 9 voting policy makers who are saying that rates really won't rise anytime soon because the economy simply can't take it. And they also have those 16 dots, the interest rate projections made by both voting as well as non-voting FOMC members, telling the exact opposite story. And they are saying that, well, rates are going to go up very, very soon. Now, which story should investors believe? Now, my own sense is that investors have begun to understand or factor in that political support for money printing and exceptionally low interest rates is beginning to wane. And ultimately, policymakers will tighten sooner than they should, or perhaps not ease as much as they should, which is going to be perhaps the case in the Eurozone, or even possibly in Japan. Now, that could tip the global economy into deflation. So investors are buying vanilla bonds, they are selling inflation-protected securities, and they might be laughing all the way to the bank when what the IMF today calls lowflation turns out to be outright deflation tomorrow.
All right, perhaps a bit of rationality among the seemingly irrational. Many thanks to Breakingviews' Andy Mukherjee there in Singapore.